Okay, update on precious metals here on May 9th. It's about 8:45 Eastern time, so metals have been trading for a couple hours now in the new day on, May. This will technically count towards May 10th. So, just general context, we are in a market meltdown that I've been talking about, just in general, broader market, moving into a major cycle low, likely in the summer, July, August. The alternative is we get a huge whoosh down, like enough of a big move down that there's some, the Fed comes out and reverses its stance. Like there's some, like basically think of it as like the decline is so extreme that someone comes out and says, like, some entity comes out to bail the market. Totally possible that there's some kind of catalyst there. But absent that, and that will obviously affect price, right? We'll probably see a huge green candle if some kind of catalyst came that like that. But we can't trade on hope. We'll trade on price. And so focusing on gold here to start, this is your weekly chart. This is your high back in August 2020. We've really just been consolidating inside this box essentially. So this most current weekly cycle, we have a weekly swing high on week 12. That was the week of March 7th. So quite a long time, while ago, we've been descending, but we've really just been consolidating here. Now we've really broken down in the last 3 weeks. So this is week 21. You can see looking at previous cycles, 18 weeks, 22, 24, 27, 18, 28, 24. So we're probably closer to the bottom than not. This area looks like a magnet, right? That's 1780, like just this kind of underside. We'll see if we get there or not. But you want to be watching for a weekly cycle bounce. Zooming in on the daily chart, see where we are in the daily cycle. This looked like it could be a swing low. We're now looking like we're gonna almost certainly break it. This would be day 30, so not even that deep in the timing band. We've had a daily cycle that was actually 55 trading days long. This one back here. Other ones that were 37, 43. The one before this one was 42 days. So I suspect most assets, I should say, just in general, are going to bounce at the same time, just given this huge decline. And looking at the monthly, this is really bad news, right? So this month becomes a swing high, right? Essentially a double top of this, August 2020 high. That's what we have here, folks. It's a swing high, right? Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Once we went below, I'll zoom in just to make sure it's crystal clear. Once we went below this low here at 1890, that was your monthly swing high. And notice we have a daily swing high on the board as well, right? We made a daily swing high once we went below this, high on day 14. And that's below this swing high. That's the one that forms the monthly. So not a great look, but again, we're at week 21 of the cycle, so could get a low soon. Unclear if that's going to be a bullish cycle next cycle, obviously. And thinking about the monthly cycle and in the context of an 8-year cycle, thinking about the monthly chart in the context of an 8-year cycle, think about an 8-year cycle would be about 96 months, right? 8 times 12. Of course, those are not perfect. I've talked about this before. The previous 8-year cycle was 86 months. The one before that was 92. The one before that was actually a perfect 96. We are on month 77, so if it were going to be exactly 96 months, we're about 19 months away from the 8-year cycle low. And now the thing to keep in mind is this was a high, this was a lower high than this high. So did we top on month 56? And we're now just consolidating here, waiting to kind of break down into the 8-year cycle low. That's what we're going to have to watch for. That's the bigger context. We'll flip over the silver, which is doing so much worse. The count is pretty much the same, though. It's also, so looking at the daily chart, I mean, look at this. So this is day 30, right? We've already broken the previous daily cycle low a long time ago. We broke the cycle low before that, right? We're just kind of sweeping the lows here. But, we would expect a daily cycle low soon. And on the weekly chart, we are on week 15. We have a swing high on week 6. And in this case, we have a swing high below 25.30. So once we poked up, made this high, and then that next week came in and you had this bearish candle. Once we went below that low, at 25.30, we had a weekly swing high on the board. And you can see for the next few weeks, we kind of consolidated, not major downside, and then it really started accelerating with this bearish outside week. At one point, this was a bright green candle. Looked like we were going to get followed through and go to the moon, right? We did exactly the opposite, and then we got big follow through the next week, big follow through the week after that, and now we're still seeing follow through this week. Still not that late in the cycle, week 15. You would expect gold and silver would bottom around the same time. So I would think that silver maybe has a shorter cycle since gold is already on day 21 or week 21. But we'll have to see. And on the monthly chart, similar picture to gold. We got a monthly swing high here, right? Once we went below that low of 24. But that's a swing high that's below this swing high, which is below this swing high. Just bad news. Lower high after lower high. And then finally, GDX, the miners. I'll also look at the ratio of miners to gold. I mean, look at this. Whew. We are on day 38 of the daily cycle. You don't have to know how to read a chart so well to know this is ugly. I mean, look at that rejection. So swing high, daily swing high below 40.82. We're now at 32 already. My God. The good news is we should get a daily cycle bounce soon. Given the rate of this decline, it's unclear. Like, this could always lead to a really big snapback. We're on week 15, so very similar to silver. I mean, look at this bearish outside weekly bar. Same thing that happened to silver, right? And then we got a gap down open on the next week. That following week kind of teased us a little bit, went green. Now we're red again. You can imagine, this is the area that's on watch, that like 28.97 sort of zone. And there's also there's a gap, right? There's a gap between, call it 27 and 26.50, unfilled from that 2020 advance. Who knows? We may come in here to fill it. And then finally, we'll look at the ratio of GDX to GLD, because I think this is telling you a very similar picture. Look at that. Assuming that, just putting numbers to it to give ourselves a cycle count, this topped out on week 10. It's the same pattern as the GDX chart itself. Not good news. Like, this kind of decline generally takes a lot of time to repair, right? You don't just snap back and get a big green candle and we're back to highs. Not good news for gold bugs.